So, and way more than vegetables. So we don't want to go overboard on fat in our diet. So we got to eat right, and we have to also move right. We have to move it to lose it. We need to exercise at least 150 minutes a week, which works out to be about 30 minutes a day, for 5 days a week. That's not too bad. We can get it into our schedules, and that's the minimum for really optimal health. We shouldn't exercise for weight loss. We need to exercise to keep the weight off and to be healthy. Exercise cannot outdo overeating. So we can't eat junk and think we're going to work it off, in the gym for hours on end. No, we exercise to maintain the weight loss, and we eat healthy options to lose the weight. So we need to be exercising. Whatever you like to do, just do it, but just keep moving. If you want to walk, run, jog, swim, dance, just do it. Gardening season is starting, so we can garden and get our calories burned off. But we need to move every day. And then we spoke about water. We need adequate amount of water in our diet to help keep us full, to stop the hunger pangs, and to really help burn more calories. We need to drink more water. You want to drink until your pee is clear or just pale yellow. That's what we're aiming for. All right. So these are the things we want to keep really working at and not giving up. And today I'm going to let us know that we can sleep those pounds off as well. Yep, sleep is a part of the formula for weight loss. And we're going to talk about that some more. So, in our culture, sleep is not looked upon as something that successful people do. We think of sleep as something that slackers do. But no, sleep is not for slackers. Sleep is for superheroes, because that's when we recharge and our body gets a chance to rejuvenate and do the right thing. So don't think of sleep as a bad thing and that less sleep is better. That is a complete misconception, and I don't want you to think that way anymore. Sleep is so important for many vital processes in our body, and one of them is to lose weight. When we get the proper amount of sleep every single night, you know what happens? We have increase in leptin and human growth hormone. These are increased while we're sleeping. And you may say, okay, what is that? Well, guess what? Leptin suppresses our appetite. So the more you sleep, the more your appetite can be controlled. Human growth hormone converts fat for fuel. So it helps us to lose weight when we get adequate amounts of sleep. Studies have shown that folks who sleep less gain more weight. If you are not getting adequate sleep, you tend to be more hungry, you have the munchies, and you just want to eat. And that is linked to weight gain. We want to make sure that we put our sleep on a pedestal. We want to give it the priority that it deserves, because that is sometimes a missing ingredient in the weight loss recipe. Now, we spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping. That's how it's supposed to be. However, in the past 100 years, our sleep has decreased by 20% overall because of industrialization and the use of more devices and just being just so busy and up all the time. And this lack of sleep really affects us adversely. We are not as efficient with what we need to get done, and we are not as productive because we are burning the candle at both ends, thinking that we're getting so much done, but we're not as efficient as we could be. Sleep deprivation is when you don't get enough sleep. And how can you know you don't get enough sleep? If you are in a kind of quiet environment, let's say in a sermon or a lecture, and you start to doze off, because of lack of stimulation, you're sleep deprived. You should not be dozing off just because you're sitting still. You should be able to be alert and awake and pay attention. So if you find that you need constant stimulation just to be awake, you are sleep deprived, and we need to do something about that. Sleep deprivation leads to so many accidents and injuries that lives could be saved if we just slept more. So you may say, okay, so how much sleep do I really need? Okay, remember these numbers. Remember, um, 12, 10, and 8. 12, 10, and 8. Elementary school students need about 12 hours of sleep every night. So kids in elementary school, your younger children from like 10 downwards, they should be getting at least 12 hours of sleep every night. 10 hours of sleep for our teenagers. And 8 hours of sleep for adults. We need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Now, I want to make an important point here for our teenagers. I have a teenager now. My oldest just turned 13. And I have to keep reminding him, you need to get your sleep because they think they're invincible. They don't want to sleep. They want to stay up all night and just do whatever. But no, adequate sleep is vital for their health, their stability, their mood control, their thinking, their rationalization, their growth. They need at least 10 hours of sleep every night. And as adults, we need to help them get those 10 hours. If it means taking their devices away when they go to bed at night, we need to do that. We have to encourage good habits in our teens so that they can be healthy adults when they are older. Now, there's something called the circadian rhythm. You may have heard of that term before. Circadian is a Latin word for around the clock. And so our circadian rhythm refers to the natural processes that occur within our body around a 24-hour cycle. There are things that naturally occur in our body at certain times of the day. And there's a little tiny master controller in our brains, right kind of behind the eyes, a little further back there. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. And the suprachiasmatic nucleus controls a lot of the functioning within our body based on light exposure. So this little tiny like pinhead device in our brain that the master designer put there gives the body signals and tells it what it ought to be doing based on exposure to light. So light that comes through the eyes is very important in helping to regulate our body functions. Now, within the circadian rhythm, our bodies are naturally designed to start producing melatonin at 9 p.m. Now, to me, when I learned that sent off like a bulb in my brain. I said, what? Melatonin starts to secrete at 9 p.m.? Well, that's the time that my body was designed to go down. Melatonin is a wonderful hormone. It's something within our bodies that we produce that helps us to sleep. But it does more than that. Melatonin is like an antioxidant. It fights and binds up free radicals. So it helps to prevent cancer and autoimmune conditions. It also helps to suppress appetite. So it helps us to control our weight. And so if the body is starting to produce melatonin at 9 o'clock, that's the time the body is telling us, okay, it's time for us to go down. As the night goes on, melatonin rises even more and it peaks and it starts to go down in the early morning. And so based on this natural physiology within the body, you know what I tell all my clients and all my patients? Go to bed at 9 p.m. That's how our bodies were designed for maximum performance. So based on physiology, we should be going down at around 9 p.m. Some of you might say, well, when I go to bed at 9, I can't fall asleep. I just lay there in the bed. I can't sleep. So what's the point? Well, I like this phrase and I want you to remember it. How you sleep at night has everything to do with how you spent your day. You see, every single choice you made throughout the day is going to affect how you sleep at night. So we need to be cognizant of this and make choices throughout the day that will give us a good night's sleep later on. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is the foods that we eat, the amount of water that we drink, the amount of exercise that we did or did not do, the amount of sun exposure that we got will affect the quality sleep that we have. So let's talk about how to get good sleep because we all want good sleep. And some of us just can't get it. So we want to lose weight, okay. We want to get good sleep. So let's put this together and try to get a win-win. Now, when it comes to getting good sleep, we need to practice good sleep hygiene. And sleep hygiene just refers to behaviors that help promote good sleep. Number one, we need to maintain a regular sleep routine. Go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. Now, when we do that, we train our bodies, we train our brain to go down and get up at a set time. And the body thrives on regularity and schedule. Now, to go to bed at 9 o'clock, we need to prepare. We need to be mindful because there's so much to do every night. And if we don't think ahead, we'll miss the mark, we'll miss the target. So, preparation is key when it comes to going to bed on time. We need to use the bed for two things: sleep and sex. Why do I say that? Because when we're in bed and we're doing all manner of things like having dinner, watching TV, on our screens, our brains are not well trained to associate the bed with only two things: sleep and sex. If we remove the non essentials from the bed, like eating dinner and watching TV, when we go into bed, our brains are prepared for what it needs to do. So we need to leave the bed for what the bed is intended for so we can go to sleep. Keep in mind that when we use devices in our bed, we need to be mindful that there is a blue light that's emitted from those screens, from those devices, that affects the suprachiasmatic nucleus and affects our melatonin production. Blue light is a stimulant to the brain to stay awake. It does not allow the suprachiasmatic nucleus to trigger melatonin production. So when the SNC, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, sees that blue light, it says, "Oh, don't go to sleep. Stay awake. Stay awake. There's so much light." We don't want that. When we're using our screens at night, if you have to use your screen at night, turn it to a red light spectrum. That type of light does not affect your suprachiasmatic nucleus as much, and you won't stay awake because of all this light exposure. Now, on your devices, there is a mode you can set for night mode. And you'll see that when the sun sets, your device will change color from a bright blue to like a dull red. Set that on your devices. I have it on my phone, I have it on my laptop. So if I need to use them at night, there's not this glaring blue light, which will affect my sleep when it's time for me to go down. Also, an hour before bedtime, start dimming your lights if possible. These things prepare your brain, prepare your mind, prepare your hormones for you to get a better sleep. Try to really block out extra light in your room. Get light blocking curtains. Cover your alarm clock with that, bright light in your face. Turn your TV off. Take your TV out of your room. That's not where you should watch TV. And really get the light down, because remember, light tells your suprachiasmatic nucleus that it's not time to sleep, and it affects your rest at night. Okay, when you spend time outside and the sunlight hits your skin, you know what happens? You increase melatonin by 300% just by being outside in the sun and exercising. So exercising outside in the sunlight increases your depth of sleep and your sleep quality and boosts your antioxidant production from melatonin. So we need to have a routine. We need to use the bed only for a few things, two things really. We need to block out all light at night, and we need to exercise outside in the sun. I'll give you another tip to help you get better, deeper sleep. We need to allow our blood to go in the right direction at nighttime. At night, when we sleep, the core, the center of our body rests. You know, the big organs, your heart, your stomach, your kidneys, everybody kind of slows down. And so blood is shunted away from the core to your periphery. And so you have what's called vasodilation of the periphery. The vessels in your arms and your legs dilate to hold more blood. That helps you with sleep. When you do things to help with peripheral vasodilation, you sleep better. What are those things? A warm shower, warm socks on your feet, blankets when you sleep, drinking adequate water throughout the day so your pee is clear and not dark. These things help with peripheral vasodilation, shunting blood from your core, helping you to sleep better at night. So, what you do in the day determines how you sleep at night. And practicing healthy habits throughout the day really helps you sleep better at night. It's all connected. I love it. Also, what we eat affects how we sleep. Avoid caffeine. Say no to caffeine. You may take caffeine now because you want to stay awake, you want to be alert. But guess what? It's going to mess up your sleep in the night. So just get off of it. Caffeine limits melatonin utilization, and it leads to broken sleep and disturbed sleep. So wean yourself off of it. Don't even use it. And don't forget that caffeine is in coffee, tea, and chocolate. So I don't recommend green tea, black tea, all those teas with caffeine. I don't recommend any caffeine at all because it's a vasoconstrictor. It clamps down your blood vessels and it affects the way you perform mentally. It causes reflux. It's not worth it. Do not use caffeine. Don't use alcohol either. Alcohol is what they call it's like the nightcap. It makes you fall asleep fast, but guess what? You never get into deep REM sleep. Your sleep is very shallow, so it's not even worth it. Um, and lastly, I'm gonna say when it comes to sleep, we need to really minimize our stress. We need to not worry, not carry all the burdens of the day in our brains. There's a saying that goes, it is a common experience that a problem difficult at night is resolved in the morning after the committee of sleep has worked on it. Just taking it out of your mind and going to sleep in the morning time, you have the answer. You have a better perspective because your brain got a chance to just offload. Your emotional center got a chance to reconnect and to reestablish itself. And now you can function better. So at night, just forget about the problems. Forget about that person, that thing, that project. Let your mind just trust in your creator who has it all worked out anyway, and that would really help how you sleep. And for those who love herbs, yes, there are things you can take to help sleep, but that's what you use after you've implemented lifestyle. I always like to tell folks lifestyle is the foundation. Then you add your herbs and your teas and your medicines, right? That's the order that is the best to follow. So after you've tried all these lifestyle practices and you need a little bit of help, you can try some melatonin. 1 to 6 milligrams should be fine. Melatonin is really best for jet lag when you've traveled across the world and you need help to sleep. That's where it's shown to have the most use, but it can help with sleep. And then if you like to drink teas, valerian root can really relax you. Chamomile tea and hops. These are all useful to increase your sleep. Proverbs 3 verse 24 says, when you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. And that is from the Master himself. Sleep is his gift to us. When we trust him, we follow his principles, and we do what he says, he will bless us with good sleep. And as you sleep, you'll sleep off the pounds. All right. That is it for this morning, Pastor.
Sleep away the pounds, huh? Well, Dr. Kathy, since I'm trying to put on some more pounds, I guess I shouldn't go to bed then.
No, I don't want to hear that, Pastor. I've heard your testimony of how more sleep helped your memory.
That it
Remember?
did.
And I tell people that all the time. I know a guy that he began to sleep more and he could remember everybody's name just by sleeping more.
Praise the Lord. The problem is I can't get nothing done.
Pastor, I don't think
I-
so.
Not enough time in a day
No,
after eight
no,
hours sleep.
no. The master's plan is always best. So don't even listen to those sayings, Pastor. Those are erroneous terms. God has given us enough time to do his work and sleep the way he designed our body.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kathy. Folks, we hope you were blessed today by Dr. Kathy's presentation. We look forward to seeing her next Wednesday. And let's just say a word of prayer as we close out. Father, thank you so much for Dr. Kathy. Thank you for our audience who stayed by and were blessed today. Help us, Lord, to put into practice all this wonderful information that we receive. Go with us now. Keep us faithful. Save us when you return, we ask. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen,
Have a
Pastor.
great day, Doc.
You too. Bye.
You know.